Hey, Lex. Hi, guys. Welcome to Saturdays with Sarah. Hope everyone's enjoying this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Today, we are interviewing our USA National Team setter, Jordyn Poulter, who is a former player at Illinois and led her team into a Final Four. Also an ABCA All-American. We're very excited to have her on, so I'm going to have her. There we go. Hi,
Hey,
Jordyn. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Are you out in Cali?
Good. No, I'm actually in Colorado enjoying this last day of nice weather before it's supposed to snow.
Oh no.
Yes, so it's like 70 today and then it's supposed to dump 4 inches tomorrow. So,
Oh my gosh. What part of Colorado are you in?
I am in Aurora, so that's like southeast of Denver.
Okay, and that's your hometown?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well,
Yeah.
welcome. So excited to get to meet you and interview you today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for
Um,
having me.
of course. So just for everybody that's joining us, this is one of our national team setters, Jordyn Poulter. And before we get going, I'm just going to have you give a little story and background about yourself as a volleyball player, like where you started
Yeah.
and like kind of your story up until today.
Yeah, so I started playing volleyball when I was in third grade. My dad coached, and so that's kind of how I got into volleyball and got started. And I have been a setter my entire time that I've played volleyball. When I was in high school, we ran a little bit of a 6-2, and I hit a little bit too. But for the most part, I've been a setter my entire career, and in my opinion, it is the best position. A little
I
biased,
agree.
but that's fine. And so, yeah, I started my recruiting process when I was in seventh grade. I had gone to an Illinois camp during the summer, and that was kind of my first exposure to Illinois and to recruiting. And yeah, I mean, at that first instance that I was at camp, I really liked that it was close to where all of my extended family was. I liked the program. That year they in 2011 they would go on to play UCLA in the finals, and I really enjoyed the coaching staff, and it was something that I wanted to be a part of. And so I think with that first experience, it kind of made my recruiting process a little different than a lot of people's. I decided to keep mine pretty small. I only visited, I think, 3 schools, and it was Illinois, UCLA, and CU. My parents wanted me to see the Colorado schools because I think every kid should kind of know what's in their home state before they decide to look otherwise. But yeah, and then the summer between my freshman and sophomore year of high school, I made the decision to go to Illinois, and I was joined by one of your former alumni, Allie Bastianelli, who was in the class with me as a middle, and yeah, it was a real joy to play with her and Beth Prince, who was also in our class.
Awesome. And now you are setting for the U.S. national team, which is pretty awesome.
It is, yeah, it's very awesome.
Oh, there's Allie right there. She gave
Hi,
you a little
Allie.
ILL. Okay, so you answered some of our questions right there. I know a lot of the girls were interested about your recruiting process, so that's good that you already touched base there. You started pretty young, so seventh grade, which is cool, and it's. I liked your advice there. I like that your parents had you look into your home state, even if you know you want to leave, kind of
Yeah.
get to know what's around you. Um, One of our first questions was, have you always been a setter? And it looks like you have.
Yes,
If
I
you
have.
could play any other position besides setter, what would that be?
I definitely would want to be a libero.
Okay.
I think that it just seems so fun to be able to really only focus on, passing and defense. I think
Yep.
it makes it so personal. It's you against either the server or you against the attacker all the time. And it seems like a really fun position to play, to just completely submerge yourself in the art of passing and defense. And I think the passing part appeals to me because I really haven't done much of it. So, setters always think that they can pass, but, I really haven't had much of an opportunity to even try. So
Awesome. Okay. The next question I have, some of these are going to be from specific players in our club who are interested. Awesome. This one is from Jada DeVita. She's one of our outsides on our 17s team. And she wants to know what the transition was like from high school to college and the transition from college to the USA national team.
Yeah. So the club that I was fortunate enough to play for, Front Range, we trained 5 times a week for about 3 hours each practice. And so, for me, I learned how to manage my time really well with school and social life in high school. You have to make a lot of sacrifices, and in college you have to do the same thing. You get 1 day off in college, and so I think my club experience really prepared me well for the college transition, just in terms of time management. But obviously, the further that you go and the next level that you get to, the more physical and the more skilled every athlete's going to be. And so I think going from playing 18s into Big Ten play, I think that was what jumped out to me the most, is just the physicality of the athletes in college. And so, after your freshman year and after a spring under your belt, when you can kind of gain a little more muscle and, get to be a little more physical, I think that first year really was an adjustment for me in that aspect. But then, I could say the same thing about going from college to the USA gym or to playing professionally overseas, is just the skill level of the athletes. It's a whole nother realm of right. Players who have had different training. And I think the biggest adjustment in the USA gym is you have to be your best every day in order to compete with the girls in the gym. And being around players that you've watched since you were, for me, I watched Jordyn Larson since I was 8 years old, and to be able to be in the same gym as her, a player like her, you want to be your best every day. And I think that brings a higher level of play out of the people that are in the gym.
Awesome. Well, now that we're on to USA, this question comes from Johanna Tillman. She's one of my middles on my 14s team this year. And she wants to know, what's your favorite part about competing on the USA team?
Yeah, I think to kind of just jump off of that last answer is I feel like I get better every day. It's just such a different environment than any other gym that I've ever been in terms of the caliber of players and just that elite play. You can't help, you either sink or swim, basically. Right. We make a lot of errors, and that forces us to learn quicker in that environment. And so for me as a setter, I just it's about cultivating new relationships, and that's exciting for me. The USA gym is always kind of a revolving door of people, and the quicker that you get to make relationships with those people and get to know them as players, the easier it becomes. But I think just being submerged in that highly competitive environment every day is the most exciting part for me.
Awesome. Let's go with what is your favorite experience in volleyball been so far?
In volleyball in general?
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. I would definitely have to say my senior year at Illinois, the Final Four was, something that just can't be matched. I think the energy and just the swarm of everything around the Final Four is something that's really exciting, to be able to represent yourself, your team, your school in an arena like that, and just knowing that this is kind of what the pinnacle of college volleyball is, what you've worked for and what you came into college hoping to get to. It all kind of comes to a head, and that for me was something that will be one of my favorite experiences forever. But also this past summer with the USA team winning VNL and getting the silver medal at the World Cup was also a lot of fun. So
Cool.
I have a couple experiences that top the charts, but
right.
I think the Final Four for sure is at the top.
Okay, and what's your favorite place that volleyball's taken you? So location, where did you enjoy going the most?
I know that they're probably looking for somewhere outside of this country, but I think Champaign, Illinois is my favorite place that volleyball has taken me.
Good answer.
But outside of the U.S., I would say Japan was really fun. I had never been to Japan before this summer, and the culture there is awesome. The people are so nice. It's a very clean, a clean culture, and I enjoy sushi and Japanese food, so that was fun too. But
awesome.
Yeah, I think Japan outside of the United States was probably my favorite place that I've been.
Sorry, I got
no problem.
Some friends hey, Charlie. Okay, so this question comes from Harper Murray. She's on our 15s team. And she wants to know, what advice would you give to someone that's trying out for a USA team this summer?
Yeah, I hope that they still get to try out this summer with all of this COVID stuff happening. But my advice,
they're doing video tryouts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're gonna have them submit like game film and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, then then my answer might not be relative to that form of a tryout, but I would just say, in those tryouts, you're with so many different girls that you've never met before and you've never played with, and I always found that the easiest way to get comfortable and to be free and showcase what I could do and felt comfortable doing was to just be, as vocal as I could, especially as a setter. You need to always kind of have that communication line between your passers and hitters. But I think the more vocal you are, it makes the people around you more comfortable, and it simulates sort of what you do every day in the gym. And in those situations, in those tryouts, it's kind of about doing what you can control, and so communication is always something that you have complete control over.
Awesome. What training have you been doing during the quarantine since you are not able to get in the gym?
Right. So I found a bunch of used gym equipment on Craigslist. I was able to find a squat rack, and my former club allowed me to borrow some bumper plates to throw on the bar that we had at our house. So I'm able to complete lifts and stuff, but the volleyball aspect has been tougher. My younger sister is a setter at the University of Denver, so we've been able to kind of pepper and sort of simulate some setting drills in our front yard on our driveway. But we just got a basketball hoop today. We put up the basketball hoops. I'm sure we'll be trying to do some setting drills that incorporate that soon.
That's great. Okay, so also with the quarantine going on, we kind of want to know your thoughts on the Olympics being moved. Obviously, it's a big bummer,
right.
But we kind of want to hear your thoughts and feelings on that.
Yeah, even kind of before this all started getting as bad as it was here in the U.S., being over in Italy, seeing the rapid pace that it was kind of spreading, and talking with other athletes and talking about how, going this long without being able to train and going this long without training as a group, while maybe some other teams like China and Japan were still training, just kind of felt a little unfair, gave them a little bit of an edge. And I know for other athletes like, that are in individual sports like gymnasts and swimmers, I don't see how it could be fair to them to kind of continue on with the game plan and have the games this summer. So, I know that the Olympic Committee put put a lot of resources into the professionals who are, more informed about what's going on, and that led to them making the decision to postpone it to next summer. And I respect that decision, and I think it's a good decision for the health and safety of the athletes, and I think ultimately for the best performances in the game. So,
Right.
we're all obviously really bummed about it, and you kind of have to shift your mindset. Another year, another club season overseas that we all have to play in order to be our best for next summer. But hopefully we come out of this better and stronger as a team. So we will see.
Great. So last week I interviewed Erin Virtue, and she broke down and explained to me how you guys have already qualified, how they're going to allow all the teams that have qualified to keep that bid into the Olympics. And then she kind of talked about like the group she has training right now, and then they break it down to the 12 on the Olympic roster. So this is my personal question. What would it mean to you to have your name on that 12-man roster?
Oh, it would be incredible. It would be the last, 11, 12 years that I've been playing this sport, all kind of, climaxing into this one moment. And I don't think that I will be defined as a player, whether I make this roster or not. But I think for me personally, it'll be the biggest accomplishment of my life. And that'll be exciting. I get excited thinking about the potential of making the roster.
I get excited just hearing you talk about making the roster.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate the support.
Well, we got to see a lot of you because Allie Bastinelli is pretty popular around these streets. So we got to see you play a lot. So we would love to get to see you continue to play next summer as well.
Awesome.
This next question comes from one of my setters on my 14s team. She is 14 years old, so she's just starting the peak of her career, and she wants to know, her name is Olivia, and she wants to know, what advice would you give to your younger self if you could go back?
If I could go back, I think I would tell my younger self to trust the process more. I think when I was 14, 15, and 16, there were a lot of moments in the process of getting better where I felt like I got overly frustrated at some points, or trying to figure out what kind of a leader or leadership role I was being asked to take by coaches. I think sometimes I let that consume my mind more than I think it should have. And you have to get worse before you get better. And if I could go back and tell my younger self that, I think, it just would have given her a little bit more peace of mind, and, to not question, I guess, so many things, either about my own performance or kind of the direction that I thought my training was going. So that's the advice that I would give, is just trust the process, and don't get so frustrated, because you have to get worse before you get better.
I love it. That's great advice. These next few questions come from our club directors. One thing we're curious is, what's the biggest change that USA Volleyball has made to your technique?
I think the USA system is, pretty tight. And so in terms of, where we're supposed to be on defense and entering out of serve receive as a setter, the positioning we're supposed to put ourselves in. And I think just being held to that standard on every single rep is a big difference than any training that I've ever received. It forces you to really be kind of meticulous about the little things, which ultimately make a big impact. I know our USA staff, they've done a lot of research and watched a lot of film on what the best, the best positioning to put ourselves in, for setters. So getting stopped left of center, and, facing, and that being able to be stopped before the passer touches it allows us to be able to read the pass easier, which allows us to get there in a more efficient way, which allows us, to take it neutral, which allows us to run the speed that we want. And so it's all kind of this chain reaction of things that eventually, make a huge difference, whether it's 1 or 2 points. Those 1 or 2 points are the difference in the match. So I think just having those things hammered down has been the biggest difference, being in the USA gym versus any other gym.
Okay, and the other question with that is, do you have the freedom to call plays at the USA level?
Yeah, so we kind of go into either a drill or a match with sort of a game plan on how we want to attack the other team. But yes, there is freedom within that. Obviously, being on the court, if you feel something or see something that maybe you can't from the bench, we have the freedom to do that. But with every choice that you make, you can expect the question to be asked. So why did you make that? Why did you make that decision? Which is good because it always allows you to be thinking ahead and thinking of how to exploit the other team. So yes, there is freedom, but you need to know why you're making those choices.
Right.
It's not just mindless running plays.
Right. Okay. And then this is a completely anonymous person who asked this question. They're just wondering how much you love your USA setters coach.
I love my USA setters coach a lot. Karen, if you're watching this. No, it really is awesome to have Erin on staff because she's, she played at Illinois and is a former Illini, and I've known Erin for a long time. She coached me on the junior team for 2 years, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm happy that I get to continue this journey with her.
We love Erin. And one more anonymous question from some random person that's watching. She wants to know who your favorite middle to set is.
My favorite middle to set. Well, Allie Bastianelli was okay, I guess, but
she sends her love.
Good,
okay.
Good.
Let's see. Before we finish with our lightning round that we're going to do, one more question to go back just for the younger kids. One of our setters, Elizabeth Miller, was wondering if you could just throw out some techniques that could help setters focus on not getting spin on their sets.
Yeah. So for me, even at this age, sometimes coming off of having not played for a while, I will have not set in a live volleyball situation for a month now. So when I get back to the gym, hopefully we can get back to the gym. I'll probably have some spin on my sets as well. But something that I always try to focus on first and see if this fixes my problem is getting my feet to the ball. The more consistently I can take the ball in a neutral spot, usually my hands usually follow. And, if you're taking the ball outside of your body, that's going to make it more difficult to, one, get the location you want, and you're going to try and overcompensate by probably pushing in weird directions. So for me, making sure that I'm getting my feet to the ball so where I can take it in a high neutral position usually helps follow with spin. But then another thing that we talk about in the USA gym is high to high. So I try to take the ball high and then make sure that I'm finishing both hands even to the target or where I want the ball to go. And I think the more that you practice that and the more consistently you get your hands to finish in the same position, both the right and left. Sometimes I overcompensate and push a little more with my left hand, which brings the ball tighter to the net. So, in those situations, I either try and strengthen my right hand a little bit or ease off a little on the left. And usually that helps with spin for me.
Okay, great. These last two non-volleyball related, they come from my family members. One who is a volleyball coach, one who doesn't know anything about volleyball, but she's got great questions. So this first one's from my sister, Angie, and she wants to know, what do you plan on doing when your volleyball career is over?
Yeah, that is a great question. My parents ask me that all the time too. So at Illinois, I was a media and cinema studies major, and I hope after I'm done with my playing career, I hope that I can transition and get into kind of some sports production stuff. I would love to be able to either work with ESPN or HBO because they put out really great sports documentaries, and just be able to tell the stories of athletes and maybe some underrepresented groups in athletics, and just be able to convey those stories, because I think there are some great stories to be told that have not been yet. So hopefully after this is all done, hopefully I have a little bit of money saved up, I'll be able to pursue those dreams.
I love it. Okay, and last one. What hobbies do you have outside of volleyball?
Oh, I have a lot of hobbies outside of volleyball. So I play the guitar a little bit. I play the piano a little bit. I like to longboard. I love to go on hikes. Let's see, what else do I do? Me and my sister, we have a ton of different sporting equipments here in the house, and we take advantage of that. Sometimes we kick the soccer ball around. Now that we have a basketball hoop, we'll be out there
Right.
shooting hoops a ton. So, just kind of whatever usually gets me outside and kind of takes my mind off of being bored, honestly. I feel like a lot of the reasons that I started playing instruments was because I was bored with my time and wanted to pick up something that I'd be able to learn and get better at. And it really, I think, is relaxing for me. And when volleyball can get hectic, it takes my mind off of that. And yeah, and it's really fun.
Awesome. All right. So before I let you go, you get the lightning round. So it's this or that. So you got to pick one or the other.
Okay.
What did Aaron just say? How do you pass the time on long 10-ish hour flights?
I usually they have pretty good movies on the flight, so when I can't sleep, I usually try and get through movies that I haven't seen. Because for some reason, like reading on flights makes me kind of nauseous, so I don't do a lot of that. But yeah, I try to sleep or watch movies, Aaron. I'm sure the same as you.
All right, here we go. This or that. Snapchat or TikTok?
I have neither.
All right. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Sand or snow?
Snow.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Rap or country?
Ooh, I'm gonna go more with country.
Okay. Hot or cold?
Hot.
Lake or ocean?
Lake.
Chips or candy?
Chips.
And last one, singing or dancing?
Ooh, dancing.
Awesome. All right. Well, it was so nice meeting you. Thank you so much for taking your time to interview with us. I know that we've got a lot of our players watching, and this is great for them to get to hear from you and learn from you. And for me, it's an honor to be able to interview one of the greatest setters in the world. We are very excited to watch you and hopefully get to see you next summer in the Olympics.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. This has been really fun. I've enjoyed every second of it. This is my first Instagram live. I mean, I don't think I've ever gone live by myself, but with someone else, let alone.
Right?
So I'm happy
This
to
is
do
only
this.
my
Thank
third.
you. Perfect. So we're
It's getting
growing,
easier.
and learning this together.
Right. Awesome. Well, go enjoy your 70-degree weather before that snow comes along in.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your Easter weekend.
You too.
Awesome. Thanks so
All right.
much. Bye.